StoryBarn, and we're just in time for today's story from the Bible. Want to know what it's all about? Well, don't be afraid to ask, because that's the name of our story. Don't be afraid to ask. And here's our storyteller, Richard Ward.
One day, Jesus gathered all of his students around and was trying to teach them a lesson, when out came a little girl, and she sat right down on his lap. And Jesus said, "Well, what can I do for you, little one?" And she said, "Jesus, it's my turn to ask a question." "Oh," said Jesus, "what's your question?" "I want to know," said the little girl, "what prayer is." "Ah," said Jesus, "that's a very good question. Let me think. I know. Prayer is like this. Now, just imagine that a man gets up in the middle of the night and he runs over to his neighbor's house and he knocks on the door and says, "Neighbor, neighbor, please get up. Loan me some bread. I've had some people come from out of town and I don't have anything to give them to eat." And from way inside the house, you hear the man say, "Do you realize what time it is? I can't get up now. All my family's asleep and the doors are already locked. Go away. Come back some other time." "But I tell you," said Jesus, "even if that man won't get up out of bed and give his neighbor what he needs because he's his friend, what will happen if that neighbor knocks real loud and raises a ruckus so the whole neighborhood gets disturbed? Pretty soon, the man inside will say, all right, I'm coming. I'll be there in a minute. Shh, 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 shh." And he goes to the door and unlocks it and gives the neighbor what he needs, just to keep him quiet. That's what prayer is like. Prayer is knocking like that, and asking like that, and looking for what you need. "For I tell you something," he said to all of them, "the people who ask receive, and those who seek find, and to those who knock, pretty soon the door will open." And then Jesus said, "Let me put it another way. Now suppose you go to your daddy and you say, 'Daddy, I'd like to have a fish.' Do you think your daddy will give you a snake? No. Suppose you go to your mommy and you say, 'Mommy, I think I'd like to have an egg.' Now, do you think your mommy will give you a spider? No. Your parents love you, and they want to give you what you need. God loves you like a parent. In fact, God loves you even more than your parents ever could. So do you think that if you went to God and asked God for what you needed, God would give you something that would hurt you? No, my child. God's not like that. So you see, prayer is not being afraid to ask.